Welcome into Jets Overtime. We're presented by SiriusXM. Eric Allen and Quincy Enunwa here at MetLife Stadium. The New York Jets failed to get their first victory of the 2025-26 campaign here this afternoon, falling by a 13-6 score to the Carolina Panthers. For the Jets, much like last week, not enough offense.
Yeah, not enough and not good enough, right? This is another week where the offense didn't show up. Obviously, you had the quarterback benching, but just not efficient, not being able to protect the quarterback not being able to get the ball out on time. You know, we got to give credit to the defense, though. They showed up for the second week in a row. Something is clicking on that side. They're really figuring out what they need to do, but offensively, they were just taking multiple steps back. This was a team that was leading the league, or at least at the top of the league in rush, and now they just can't even get that done.
Yeah, well, the major headlines coming out of this ball game, you just alluded to it, Quincy, as the Jets went to Tyrod Taylor in the second half. Justin Fields got the start again, and Aaron Glenn said, hey, I thought we needed a spark. Yeah. He put the ball in Tyrod's hands. Now, as we move forward, we'll be talking about it later in the show. The Jets face the Cincinnati Bengals next week, and we don't know who their quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it, right? When you're not able to get anything done, you have to look at who is going to be the person to be replaced. Quarterback is the easiest one because, you know, maybe there's an opportunity for a spark. Somebody's going to get the ball out quick, and we saw a little bit of that from Tyrod Taylor, but overall, man, you know, I think you got to know your scouting report, right? Like, J.C. Horn is one of the top cornerbacks in the league. He got 2 picks today, both on when your receivers are just not able to get open. You know, and that's unfortunate, right? Garrett Wilson comes out of the game, and now you've got some backup guys in there. You've got different guys. The only person that really made some plays today was Tyler Johnson, and to be honest with you, it was mainly against the zone coverage. That man coverage was just tough for these guys.
Yeah, the Jets definitely felt the absence of Garrett Wilson. He's one of the elite receivers in the National Football League, and no matter who was playing quarterback today, it was tough to come by in terms of yards. We're going to look at the scoring summary and some game highlights here coming up, but it was a low-scoring first half as Carolina got on the board first, and then Nick Folk answered, making it a 3-3 ball game here at MetLife Stadium. The first touchdown comes late in the first half as Bryce Young scrambles and hits Leggett there, who had a monster game for the visitors. Then they tack on a field goal in the second half. Folk makes it a one-possession game at 13-6. They're late, but unfortunately for the Jets, they were never able to get that game-tying touchdown here at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, offense just continues to shoot themselves in the foot, continues to make these bad mistakes in the worst positions. They were backed up multiple times, and both times that they were backed up in the beginning of the game, they had penalties that backed them up even further, right? You can't have those type of mistakes. So we can talk about the quarterback, we can talk about the receivers not getting open, right? But the offensive line is also doing their own dirt in this game as well. So it's just a whole issue with the offense right now. They have to figure out what is going on. It's top to bottom, right? Not only is it the players, but it's also the coaches, right? What plays are you calling? How are you making your guys be in the best position possible? Head coach as well, right? Everybody has to look themselves in the mirror, right? Because now going into the second half, you have an opportunity for a Hail Mary, and you choose not to take that for the second week in a row. There's got to be trust across the board, and it does not seem like that's there right now.
I'll tell you what, though. For the Jets, they're going to go back and look at this game film, and they did a lot of good things on the defensive side of the ball. Listen, this Carolina offense was really humming, especially on the ground, and the Jets rallied together. They did a good job against Carolina's ground game. And then it's interesting, this game actually saw 4 quarterbacks playing all. There's Andre Sisco making a tackle. Great play there by Sauce Gardner. I think we're going to take a look at that in depth later. Malachi Moore, the rookie, coming over there with the PD as well. And the Jets made it tough for the Panthers today. If you're going to nitpick, you're going to say the Jets did not have any takeaways, where the Panthers come up with a pair of interceptions there in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The secondary played an amazing job today, right? You talk about taking away their number one target. That's one of the big deals that we talked about coming into the game, was McMillan being a guy that can make big plays for you all over the field, and Sauce just completely neutralized him. And I love what they did with Sauce, right? They traveled him, but they also traveled him and played zone as well. So it was very confusing for Bryce Young back there. He didn't know where to go. A few times they played their cover 2. You saw Brandon Stevens make that great play on the cover 2 on the boundary. So it was a great call, great play calls from the defensive coordinator, great play execution from the players as well. So defense, you got to tip your hats off to them.
Yeah, they gave the Jets every opportunity to win this game. Jamie Sherwood was all over the place. He was leading the Jets in tackles. There are his stats right there, and he had a big sack of Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Such a fascinating ball game because the Jets made the quarterback switch because of play. They go from Justin Fields to Tyrod Taylor in order to get a spark, whereas Carolina, they lose their starter, Bryce Young, and it's Andy Dalton who finishes the game for them.
Yeah, and the defense continued to feast no matter who the quarterback was. Offensively, man, one thing that you got to give credit to for Tyrod Taylor is he was taking the shots, right? Yeah. He was pushing the ball down the field. He took his sacks as well, but we got to see some semblance of an offense that we want to see, right? We saw in the first week. I'm going to continue to go back to that first week because that Pittsburgh game was a great game from the offense overall. That's what we want to see for the rest of the season. Tyrod Taylor gave them a little bit of a glimpse of that. We saw some trick plays, right? We saw a lot of different things that we haven't been seeing. So hopefully they can continue that part of it.
All right, let's get to our turning point. It's the third quarter. It's a 13-3 ball game. And what do you see here?
Yeah, so this is a reverse with a deep pass, and it's an opportunity for a big play. It looked like Tyrod Taylor was trying to get a hold of the ball. I can't really tell you what was going on, but then you have that following play where now it's a pick, right? And an underthrow, maybe the timing was off. Something was off about that play, and you allow J.C. Horn to get in on the play and make an amazing catch right over your receiver, your new starting receiver, right? The guy that's supposed to be in for Garrett Wilson.
I love the play call by Tanner Angstrom.
Both of them.
They're in plus territory because Alan Lazard was wide open. The sideline right next to me over here. And it just took a little bit longer than you'd like. And the Panthers defender came out of nowhere. He comes up with the PD. And the very next play, you dial long distance, and it looked like Reynolds had a step.
Yeah.
But Horn showed us why he's an elite ball player.
Absolutely right. This is the reason why he is who he is. He's a great player. But yeah, great play calls. I think timing was off, right? On both of those plays, timing was off. The timing was off on the deep pass. The second deep pass, the timing was off on the first pass, right? And maybe that's some of those things where, you're talking about a guy that has not been playing the last few weeks. He just was not able to get right on those passes. I think if they run them again, you would see something different. But right now, that just did not work out the way they wanted to. But I do love the play calls.
Speaking of timing, let's hear what Jets head coach Aaron Glenn said about today's quarterback switch.
Offensively, we have a lot of work to do, and that speaks for itself. We all know that. But the only thing we can do is go back to work. It's the only thing we can do. Now, I understand the nature of the quarterback change. Listen, we needed a spark. At that time, I felt it was the right time to do it. Obviously, it was a tough situation for both of those guys. But it was my call. It was my call, and I felt it was the right time to do it. So when it goes into next week, I'm not ready to sit here and say what's going to happen with next week with our quarterbacks. But I would say this. That's something I have to look at. So any questions? I will say this on the special team. I thought our special team did some good things. There was a couple of things that we still have to work on, for the most part. But there were some good things that our special teams did. Obviously, it's going to hurt because Kane's out. We'll see exactly where it's going to lead to because he's one of our dynamic guys. But I thought there were some good things on special teams.
AG, when you did make the change, it looked like you had a little bit more flow offensively with Tyrod, even though the other guy made a great play in the end zone. But what did you feel that at all? You kind of moved.
Yeah, I just felt like it was time. Our team needed a spark, and I thought we did move the ball, fairly well. Obviously, not enough to give ourselves a chance to win. Those guys made two great plays on interceptions. And I guess the tough thing about that is, man, you rather have where either we catch it, it's a DPI, or it's incomplete. And that has to be the mindset of us on offense to where we're not giving up interceptions. So, but they happen. Got to give those guys credit. They made some plays. But we have to be able to pull out, these low-scoring games. The thing is, our guys are fighting. There's no quitting any of our guys. So I give those guys a lot of credit. But, again, we have to go back to work next week.
Jets fans, clear the runway. The New York Jets are ready for takeoff against the Cleveland Browns. Be there at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m. to experience the action and energy of Jets game day. Don't miss out. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. The Jets, of course, will be hosting the Browns following the bye. Next week, the Jets will go and face the Bengals in Cincinnati, and they'll face one of the Jets' former quarterbacks in Joe Flacco was slinging that ball all over the place Thursday night in the Bengals win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. You are watching Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Eric Allen, Quincy Enunwa here. I want to get to our favorite part of the show. That's the telestration right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to break this one down, man. There was some great DB play all over, great schematic DB play as well.
No doubt. The Jets had 4 PDs in all in that first half.
So on this first play, we're going to watch it from this side a little bit just to see Sauce Gardner one-on-one against Hetero and McMillan, and he shuts it down on third down. That's a tough place to be, right? You're on an island out there. Does a good job. Look at this jam, right? So I've been watching Sauce, and he's a strong guy. He might be a little thin, but he's a strong DB. He knocks him off his route just a little bit, but then this out route is tough to cover. Watch him right here. Stick his foot in the ground and make sure that he doesn't go too far up the field. That's one of those mistakes right there. He stays tight to him and knocks it out right there. Good job by Sauce. Look at it on this other side. Sticky coverage, right? Sticky sauce, that barbecue sauce. Is that what that's what he has at Buffalo Wild Wings?
That's something like that.
So again, on this second play, another great job. They're running a double post with an over. That's a tricky play on this cover 3, but Malachi Moore, the rookie, does a nice job of breaking this up. Now, it's a drop here, but he still has an opportunity to catch it if Malachi Moore's not there. So you finish through. A rookie remembering to continue to finish through the play, never quit. A good job by his defensive player, and a great job from the defense showing up today. On this last one, Brandon Stevens has had some flack, but the last few weeks he's been playing really well. On this cover, too, confusing Bryce Young just a little bit, making him think this corner route is open, but no, it's not. Not today, sir. Not in my zone. A good job of staying right here, low, but then eyes to the quarterback because I know he's looking for this deep route right behind me. Dives back there. I would have loved to see him get 2 hands on this ball and get the pick. That would have been huge, but a good job anyways, just making that play for your defense.
Man, you and Bobby D, who's back at Florham Park right now.
My guy, Bobby.
Awesome job with the telestration
Always
once
showing
again.
up for me.
I'll tell you what, the Jets might not have a win, but you guys are unbeaten out here with the telestration. Incredible. You're watching Jets Overtime presented by SiriusXM. The Jets lose to the Carolina Panthers by a 13-6 score. Before we get to Josh Reynolds, one thing I want to talk about here is AG just discussed injuries. Yeah. Obviously, the Jets lined up without their top offensive weapon in Garrett Wilson today. Yeah. Kene Nwankwo goes out with a concussion, and Sauce Gardner was being treated for concussion as well. So we'll have to see about his status. Potentially, the Jets might not have either Wilson or Gardner next week.
And that's going to be tough, man. When you are already struggling to find a win, you want your star players, especially the star players you just paid, right? Those guys are high-performing and high-paid athletes, right? So it's unfortunate when you lose them. We saw what it looked like today without Garrett Wilson. We don't want to see. But I will say, A.Z. Thomas showed up. In that last play, he did get beat.
I thought like got pushed off.
I would say that as well, but he did have some great plays. He showed up as well.
All right, so let's get to the locker room right now. Caroline Hendershot standing by with Josh Reynolds.
Here with Josh Reynolds. Josh, what was Coach's message about the offense after today's game?
Stay together. He knew we were gonna face adversity, and ultimately we didn't overcome it. Plain and simple, we didn't score enough points.
What did you think that there were some positives within the offense? What did you think that you could build off of going forward?
I think I haven't looked at the tape yet, but I think there's some good, there's some obviously stuff we got to clean up. But we put together a couple drives that ultimately we gotta finish when we get in the red zone. And when we get past that 50-yard line, we gotta really lock in and keep those penalties on check.
What would you say of the spark that Tyrod Taylor provided the offense as he came in the second half?
He did a great job keeping plays alive, and that's what we needed. We needed we just needed to keep the ball moving, and he did a great job coming in doing that.
You're a veteran in this locker room. You've seen different locker rooms, wins, losses. What gives you the confidence that this group is going to stay together and find a way to come out on top?
Nobody's pointing fingers at each other right now. We're locked in, or we're locked in with each other, and that's the biggest part. Because as soon as there starts to be divide in the locker room, that's the worst thing that can happen to a team.
If there's one thing that you guys want to accomplish from your perspective in this next game before the bye week, what do you want that to be?
Obviously a win. But, for offense, we just we need to take that next step forward, and then that's finishing drives, and that's keeping drives alive.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, Josh.
Thank you.
Are you the ultimate Jets fan? The New York Jets is celebrating the most passionate, committed fans of the game with the annual Fan Hall of Fame presented by Ticketmaster. Submit your nomination at nyjets.com/Fan Hall of Fame. Terms do apply. You're watching Jets Overtime presented by Sirius XM. We just heard Caroline Hendershot with Josh Reynolds. Your take on what you saw from the passing offense maybe in the second half, because Tyrod's statistics, 10 of 22 for 126 yards, had the 2 interceptions.
We got to see Tyler Johnson make some plays. We got to see some shots down the field. I think that was a big point. But one of the things I liked about Tyrod Taylor is he was getting the ball out quick. We saw Mason Taylor make a few catches right off the break.
You love this play right here.
This was a great play, right? Tyler Johnson finding that zone in the sail route. Again, you need guys to be able to find the zones so that your quarterback can make those plays. And then another play right here. I like this one. This was quick, a quick pass, right? We need all those quick passes. He had a few great quick passes to get. This was a great one. I really appreciated this one, not only from Tyrod Taylor but also from Josh Reynolds, right? Because you're going to get that hit. It's a squire route is what we used to call it, with the underneath route sitting to hold the linebacker. He threw it right there. The safety's going to hit you. Good job making that play though.
Man, this happens every week. I get it. It's the National Football League, a lot of close contests, but there are certain plays that you wonder if they are executed if it's a totally different ball game. We broke down the turning point there where Lazard's wide open, and unfortunately that ends up in a PD. How about the drive after that, the ensuing drive where Tyrod looked to throw a perfect ball to Arian Smith, and the rookie was unable to haul that in for a touchdown.
Yeah, those guys got to step up, right? Every receiver, right? If Garrett Wilson is not in the game, I don't like to go back too far too many times, but I remember back when we had Fitzpatrick, B. Marsh, and Eric Decker, and we had the whole contract dispute, so those guys were out. That was in 2016. Yeah. That's when I really stepped up because I got more opportunities, right? Those guys were not practicing. That was my chance to show that I'm supposed to be here. Those are your chances right there. Garrett Wilson is not in the game. You can show up and take his spot. Now, Garrett Wilson is a guy that's hard to take his spot, but we think about the same thing with Rico Dowdle, right?
Yeah.
Hubbard went out. Dowdle showed up, right? Those are your chances. Those are your opportunities. Even when the game is not going well, the team is not doing the right thing they're supposed to do, you got to show up for yourself. And, that didn't happen today.
So let's look at the Jets' upcoming schedule. I've mentioned it multiple times that they're going to be facing the Bengals, and then you'll have an opportunity for a self-scout. That's going to be huge for this young team to go back and assess completely where they're at, where they can hang their hat on. And then after that, you come out of there, the bye, you host the Cleveland Browns, and you get a short week. You face the New England Patriots, who are riding high right now. Then you're going to Baltimore. Listen, right now for the Jets, you're just fighting and crawling and scratching to get one victory, and it's awfully hard to come by.
Absolutely. I think the defense, I almost don't want the defense to take the bye, right? They're on a high right now. They're playing at an elite level, right? Slowing things down. You're talking about teams coming in. Last week, J.K. Dobbins was one of the most explosive runners in the league. They slowed him down this week. They did a good job slowing down this offense. I want these guys to be able to continue on that. So that bye week actually comes at the worst time for them. Offensively, though, they do need a little bit of a break to readjust and reassert what it is that they want to do this season, because right now it's not looking the way they wanted to.
So we just saw the Jets' 2 sacks today. Credit Quinnen Williams on the Jawan Briggs sack, the first one.
Yes.
Quinnen was collapsing that pocket. I have no freaking idea how Andy Dalton held onto that ball on the Sherwood sack. Yeah. Final thoughts as we get out of here. There's the Briggs numbers today. He had 4 tackles and 1 sack. The Jets continue to get good interior play from that rotation up front that features Quinnen Williams, Harrison Phillips, and the aforementioned Jawan Briggs.
Yeah, these guys got to figure out how they're going to deal with adversity. Anytime adversity comes up, it feels like from the top to the bottom, everybody kind of slumps down. If you can find out what the key to that is, you can shift this thing, right? Other teams are straining against you. This team was 3 for 4 on 4th down. that's a gotta have it down, and they're converting that, right? So on the other side, you got to figure out, how can I strain no matter what is going on? I've got to be able to strain and deal with the adversity.
Both quarterbacks are talking right now. You're going to be able to watch that on NewYorkJets.com and all our social platforms. That's Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, of course. It's going to be decision time for Aaron Glenn. He replaced Fields today with Taylor in the second half. Will it be Tyrod Taylor who gets the start next week in Cincinnati? We'll find out as the week progresses. Another tough outcome for the Jets here today at MetLife Stadium. For Quincy Nunwa, Caroline Hendershot, and a cast of thousands here, I'm Eric Allen. We'll see you next week.